This is our LT28. We're in Finland here, and this is our gull wing door. Obviously we're in the phases of still completing this, but we're going to tell you a little bit about it and how we did it. Big shout out to Greenleaf Garage. If you check them out on YouTube, they made a gull wing door from a Chevy, and we got the inspiration and the kind of know-how mainly from that. But here we go. So this is John. Tell us about this gull wing door.
So what we did first, we took the old sliding door, we took it off, and basically we started by just like pushing it in place without all the old hinges and all the old stuff. And basically we just started to check the lines that like it suits perfectly to the van. When we knew where we want to put it, we just marked down like the main lines here on the top where the hinges would eventually be, and then we went and we bought some hinges. And basically what we got from the hardware store is just these like really basic like heavy duty hinges. This is one of the hinges that didn't work out so well. This is like the prototype hinge. You can see it's a little bent. But we realized very quickly that we have to do some kind of modifications to these to actually be able to fit them in the door. So basically what we did here first was we heated the hinge up and we tried to bend it, but the material here is so flimsy that we quickly found out that that's not gonna work. So eventually what I ended up doing is I took an angle grinder and I grinded like half of the material away from the hinge to be more able to bend it, and also we knew that we are going to weld these hinges, so I knew that that's not gonna be a problem later on. Eventually how it ended up looking here is I bended the hinges to the shape of the door. That took us some time because we wanted to be sure that the hinges actually like pop out of the door, because we needed the hinge to be between the door and between the main frame. Basically the other end of the hinge, you don't have to modify it. You just have to find out how deep you are going to install the hinge. So the only thing we did here on the upper part, we just gutted the hinge like 3 millimeters at a time, and we just started to see how the hinge and how the door fits in the frame. When we first installed the hinges, we just used like small tack welds and a few screws, just because we wanted to first make sure that the hinges work before actually welding them on. It's not yet completely done, like all the finishing touches are still missing, but we now know that the hinges work.
Okay, what about the attachments here for the struts?
So we got the struts we just got from the hardware store, and we ordered online these attachment brackets for the pistons or for the struts. And basically the way we installed them was that we just took the strut out like as much as they come out, and we just basically started to try that how far does the brackets needs to be installed, so that when the hinge is totally out, you have to adjust the door first, like to the height that you want it to be. So basically if you want to walk under the door, you have to use a ladder or some wood to actually support the roof to the correct height you want eventually it to be. And when you have set up the correct height and you know that it's all level, when you know it's all level, then you just take the hinge, the struts, and you attach the brackets as far as they go on both sides. You measure up that the struts are like at the same distance from the frame of the body, because if the struts are not from the same distance, the struts can also start like bending and wobbling the door. And if everything works perfectly, the door should close and open so that there is no warping on the door. So it just sits down perfectly on the frame of the body. And then you can see that all the lines here are straight. It matches up to the all body lines of the van.
For those of you who will be wondering about how are we going to lock this, we're still thinking about that too. We're going to put a handle most likely here and have a locking system further down.
Maybe even electronic, some kind of electronic locking system.
Yeah, I think it's a trip to the scrapyard to maybe take something off an old LT.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Anyways, I hope that answers some questions or, you know, inspires some of you. This has been a bit of a adventure for us with this. This is our first ever project, our first ever gull-wing door. We had to rebuild the doors at the back as well. And actually all of the lower parts of the van we had to rebuild. And yes, anyone who's wondering about what this is about, it's some modifications. It's a little different, maybe not the same lines as most LTs, but we have plans for bigger wheels and whatnot. But yeah, all right, cheers. Thank you, and like this video